This is Pat McGuigan, editor of CapitolBeatOK, and I'm with Tom Guild, who is the Democratic nominee in Oklahoma's 5th Congressional District. Tom, we've talked previously, but in the course of the campaign, you've been especially critical of the incumbent and of Congress on issues of public education and job creation. Could you elaborate your perspective?
Well, the latest poll I saw nationwide showed that Congress's approval rating now is about 13%. It's a wonder that it's in double digits the way they've been behaving. First of all, they seem to not get it that public education is essential to our democracy. It's essential to our economy. Just as an example, the Republicans are playing games with a law that would extend the 3.4% interest rate for college student loans instead of letting it rise to 6.8%. When you think about how far we are behind in competing in the world economy with a lot of other countries, we need a lot more, a much higher percentage of college graduates so that they can go into the high-paying careers and have good jobs and fulfilling jobs. And if you add to the college debt, I've seen some statistics that say about the average for debt carried by a college graduate in the United States is around $30,000. Well, if you start out your working life with a $30,000 debt, then it shouldn't surprise anybody that we're falling behind in the world economy.
Now, you mentioned jobs. When people start jobs, move on to that part of your concern about the record of Congress and the incumbent.
Well, President Obama put forth the American Jobs Act, and it had some really good ideas. First of all, for some infrastructure repairs, you don't have to go but a mile or two on Oklahoma streets or highways or over underneath bridges here in Oklahoma to know that we desperately need to take care of our infrastructure. We have crumbling schools, roofs that leak, equipment that's faulty, and we have all kinds of things that we need to take care of here domestically. And those would create a lot of jobs. Also, we need to hire back a lot of our first responders, firefighters and policemen that have lost their jobs in the economic hard times that we've just gone through, and we need to hire back teachers. Because one of the things, and I can tell you from experience, teaching in the classroom for 30 years, that whatever anyone says, I can tell you for sure that you have a lot more time and can be a lot more effective in teaching if you have small, manageable class sizes of 25 than if you have 40, 45, 50, or 60.
You just, I'm sorry to interrupt, I want to keep this to our traditional Capital Beat length. Tell me a little bit about, you referred to your years in teaching. And of course, that's how we first got to know each other. Talk about something you've long articulated as a political scientist and examiner of the American political scene. You've always been critical of lots of money in political campaigns, and that's still a concern, and now you face it in your challenge to the incumbent. Talk about that a little bit from a philosophical or political or any other point of view you want.
Well, the big money in politics has been swallowing up our democracy, and the Citizens United case made it even worse. Now we have the unregulated super PACs. A lot of times, depending on the type of ad they run, they don't even have to identify their donors, or they identify their donors so late that it can't impact on the vote. We're going to run a campaign against an incumbent that will have $1 million to spend. We'll probably have $100,000 to $250,000 if everything goes just right. So we'll be outspent 10 to 1 or 4 to 1 or something along those lines. Probably closer to, at least 4 to 1. And it's just, people shouldn't be able to buy an office. Political action committees that fund candidates shouldn't be able to buy a candidate or buy a congressman or buy a president or buy a state representative. And really that is demeaning and disabling to our democracy, and I'm truly, truly worried that we may wake up sometime in the near future and there's no democracy left.
One last question. You, I think, feel the same way you did when the campaign began about the top 3 issues. Tell us what those are, very briefly.
Social Security, which my opponent wants to privatize, which would destroy the system. It would take revenue, the revenue stream away. He's voted twice in 2011 and 12 for the Ryan budget, which would kill Medicare and replace it with a voucher that basically would destroy Medicare, take us back to the days where 30% of our elderly are in poverty. And also campaign finance reform is desperately needed. We at the very least, we need full disclosure immediately of all donors to all PACs and all candidates.
Does that summarize your view? You still feel the same way?
That's the Reader's Digest version.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman, to-be, you hope.
Yes.
Professor Guild, and we wish you the best in the campaign.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.